Hi, this is Greg Ford talking about the premiere entry into Paddy Freeling's Ant and the Aardvark series, which is named appropriately The Ant and the Aardvark. Also, shortly, we'll be hearing from Fritz Freeling on the subject via the modern miracle of old tape recordings. And now, look, it's the final screen credit, and turns out it's Frizz himself who directed this pilot film for the series. Now, the first striking thing about this picture is the design work by Cornelius Cole, Corny Cole. You see it in the picnic setting there in the background look with the sketchy linearity, like linearness emphasized against only slightly shaded, varied color fields, and how this look somehow works perfectly with the characters and is somehow consistent with the flat ant red and aardvark blue character colors. And the next striking thing about the film is the expert vocal work by impressionist comedian John Biner.
What's the matter? You lost, pal?
Now, Biner's clearly gifting the ant with a nonchalant, hip, laid back and cool Dean Martin type voice. As for the aardvark, listen.
You know, it takes 200,000 ants just to make a decent sandwich, and I'm having trouble with just one.
Well, that's clearly an expert impersonation of Jackie Mason's voice, and apparently Mason got wind of this, didn't like it, and wanted to do the voice himself. So here's a description of Frizz's legendary encounter with Jackie Mason, straight from the Frizz's mouth.
Coconut cream pie. You know how I know it's coconut? Because it's got a coconut in it, and it hoits.
The story about the voice, the aardvark. I actually got Jackie Mason. You know the Jewish comedian Jackie Mason. I thought, well, that voice would be funny with the aardvark. So anyhow, Jackie Mason came in, and we went recording over on La Brea somewhere, and I came in with the script and the storyboard. I go over the storyboard and all the lines, and I tell him the lines. And I didn't even look at him. I just figured he was like Mel or somebody else. You tell him, and sometimes you even imitate the voice. You talk like that. I try to talk like Mason, Jackie Mason. And then suddenly he says, "No, I can't do that. You can get imitators to do it. They can do a better job than me." And his agent said, "Jackie, they residuals and things." Yeah, he says, "No, it's not for me. Get an imitator. There are people that can do me better than I can do." And he walked out. And I didn't know why, because I wanted him to do Jack Mason. But the thing is, I was writing the lines for him. And he does his own stuff. And that's what bothered him. And not that he couldn't do the voice. He didn't think my lines were funny, because they were not stage lines, they were for a cartoon I had in mind that he couldn't visualize. So he walked out, so I got John Biner. He did Jackie Mason better than Jackie Mason. John Biner could do anything. So anyhow, Jackie Mason would not do it.
How do you like that? He gave me the slip, and I just told him not to.
But that wasn't really the end of the story, according to director, designer, animator Art Leonardi, who knows all. And Mason apparently did receive some kind of probably modest remuneration for the mimicry of his voice. But I still like Frizz talking about it. It's funny. Now here's some very Frizz-like slapstick staging. We see the aardvark burrow underground. We can tell he hits the gas line from the vibration on the pipe. We just hear him strike a match and hear the off-screen kaboom. And only afterwards see the aardvark in his now dilapidated burnt to a cinder state. This delayed disclosure of the aftermath is something Frizz always thought was very funny. The staging of this next gag, though, has a more atypically Jonesian, coyote-like feel to it. Maybe it was contributed by the cartoon's writer, John Dunn, who had actually co-written a couple of Roadrunner cartoons with Chuck Jones back at Warner's, one of them Oscar-nominated, I think. Also, Dunn should be credited, I understand, with having designed the very first model of the aardvark before the one seen here reworked by Courtney Cole. Gags suiting the temper of the times in this 1969 cartoon include references to warning labels on store products, sort of new back then, believe it or not, and protest movements, obviously a hot topic then. Oh, I love it when the aardvark changes colors, by the way. That kills me. Actually, contemporaneous gags abound in Ant and Aardvark films, like knowing nods toward things seldom if ever alluded to in Warner's cartoons, like transistors, the miracle of transistors, and surfboarding, bad trips, credit cards, and even home computers. I saw this cartoon when it came out at a large non-multiplex type movie theater where it got big laughs, and I liked it at the time. Also, I remembered Frizz's underappreciated Ant cartoons at Warner's, what I called Frizz's Ant trilogy, to the ridicule of many, a trilogy consisting of the Fighting 69th and a Half from 1941, The Gay Anties, an Ant musical in 1947, and of course, Ant Pasted in the 50s. And I thought to myself, gee, Freeling's Warner's Ants march on, in a sense, with this new DePatie Freeling Ant incarnation. This is Greg Ford signing off.